Zandabi. Hi, everyone. I'm Rachael Kulei Nielsen, and I am here with the Native Lens. What is Native Lens? Well, I decided that it was so important to create a dialogue with Indigenous peoples, and every topic. I feel like there's a lack of knowledge of Indigenous issues. And I decided I'm going to start doing this, doing interviews. And so today is my first interview with Rachael Kulei. And we have the honor of having a multi-talented female, I want to say an artist slash healer slash designer. Rachael is my partner and Zimee Wellness Center and Indigenous Sovereignty. And she also is a professional ballet dancer, and she is a model, and she has her own designs with her jewelry, and also is a coach for modeling, and also a body and emotional practitioner and vibrational sound therapist. So many things you're doing, Rachael. How do you do it all?
Having an amazing mother that motivated me and told me that I could do anything that I put my mind to, and there is no limit, and I only limit myself.
Mm,
And so that was the biggest thing I think for me growing up is um, you never put a block on me saying I couldn't do something. And instead, you inspired me and put in my mind throughout my whole child life that I really could do anything I set my mind to. And if I didn't want to do it, is because I didn't want to do it. It wasn't because I couldn't do it. And I never, you also helped me with, don't say you can't do something unless you tried it.
mhm,
And so that's the biggest thing that has pushed me throughout my life is people always saying, you can't do that. And I'm like, yeah, I can. And they're like, how do you know? And I'm like, because I can do it. And they're like, what? And I'm like, watch, I'll just do it. And then, sometimes I'll fall on my face and get back up, but I keep going. And that's also from you and from our ancestors and our grandpa, always saying to get back up, dust your knees off and keep running. And
mhm.
what did you learn? What did you learn from your mistakes and do better and put those mistakes into action and push yourself to drive forward. And not only that, I've had really good influences throughout my life and role models, and also watching you grow while I was growing up. You did all these amazing things, and you were always busy, always helping, and still are helping the community, helping family. And so I was like, well, my mom can do it, I can do it. And and so it's really because of you that pushed me to be able to do anything, well, and everything that I'm doing right now. And not only that, through all of my cancer healing, emotional traumas, physical traumas, abuse, really owning that and stepping forward and not allowing just because of those things that I went through define me, but really push me into who I truly am. And so it really helped motivate me to be able to do many things and also stay organized with all those things. Like you were my life coach growing up, and you had me organized. And when I was, I was going to school, had me in private school, and I was in school until 3 o'clock, and then I went straight to Oregon Ballet Theatre, and was there from 3:30 till 9 o'clock at night. In my breaks, while I'm stretching, warming up, I'm doing my homework in the midst of it. Um, and you kept pushing me. And helping me on a whole nother lifestyle of self-care. And especially growing up in, Oregon Ballet Theatre and all these prestigious ballet schools I've traveled to, there's a lot of anorexia and bulimic, and having to step on a scale in order to do partnering classes, you have to, or partnering with a man, you have to weigh a certain weight. And you really helped me know how to um, eat healthy
Mm-hmm.
and work out. And I think one of the biggest things too for me was not having a scale in the house. You never owned a scale.
Mm-hmm.
And you had me working out, but then not only that, you were a triathlete. So I'm like, okay, so my mom's a triathlete, she's a bodybuilder, like she's all these things, doing all this amazing stuff. And I'm like, okay, I can do this too. So you had me working out with you when I was 12 years old growing up, had me in my first triathlon when I was 12 and a half, 13. And you taught me how to really self-care and not worry about what the scale says, but how do you feel? How do
Mm-hmm.
you feel on the inside? How do you feel spiritually? How do you feel mentally? And, take care of, eat, you are what you eat. And so eating healthy, you always made sure I had healthy snacks and things to eat on my break so that I didn't have to throw up from overexertion, because I do that. I push myself
Oh,
so
I thought you
far.
meant after I eat, I gotta throw up. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like
Like,
it,
wait, I don't know that story.
no, no, it's from like overexertion, and it's like pushing myself, and then I'm like I just like over like push, so I had so much food in me that, even like at powwows, I've done that at powwows where I go and dance and I go and I push myself for 3 songs and I overate, and then by the time I'm done, I'm like running to the trash can throwing up, not on purpose, but because I just like pushed myself so much. And so I really understood, like, okay, like a lot for eating tuna, eating nuts, eating proteins that were not so heavy on the stomach, so that I was able to keep that energy and be able to dance for 6, 10 hours a day, and school, and modeling and all these things. But I think going back to that, with the structure, I think that was the biggest thing for me, was the setup, was the structure that um, I grew up in, with being in a private school, being in a military style dance company throughout my whole life, from 3 to 18, until I went to dance companies. And so I think that was another thing that really helped me be organized, and also not worrying about what the world was doing around me.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the biggest thing, was a big challenge for me, was especially through middle school and high school, was, everybody's going to parties, they're going to hang out, and they're doing all these things. And I had to make a lot of sacrifices and choices, and even missed vacations, uh, because my dedication to dance and my scholarship I was on, because I was on a full ride scholarship for many years. I think I was 8 years old when I received my first merit scholarship, and it was half scholarship, I believe.
Yeah.
Um, and so there was that, and then also being put into the outreach program through Oregon Ballet Theatre also opened my eyes to another realm of community service and things. And then also with you growing up, doing a lot of stuff for the homeless shelters and for Native communities, raising money for reservations and different tribes, and clothes and foods, and doing all these different things for community service. And so that also opened my mind up too, but also watching you be a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And so you were a teacher too, and still are, and you're a professor. So that was a whole nother thing too of what can I do in my life with all my skills and things that to teach? Because you also taught me that you would say, Rachel, I work in I write the dancers' paychecks at Oregon Ballet Theatre. I know how much they make. I don't want to crush your dreams, but you need to have a backup plan and a side plan to support you so that you can dance. And I think that was the biggest thing for me that I'm grateful for too, because that helped me on a whole nother level be able to really grasp my talents and my gifts and what I needed to do as far as helping and leading. And so then, it opened up more doors for me to start teaching with ballet, with dance, with Native studies. I was able to teach powwow dancing for the Title VII program for many years. And so just all these things. So again, it goes back to not putting limits on what I can and can't do, and not having the mindset of I can't do it, but I can do it unless I try. And then if I choose like, no, this wasn't for me, but I tried. It's not that I can't do it. It's just not mine, or yeah, this is what I want to do, and do it and go for it. And but not only that, it's also staying in tune with who I am spiritually and what is my purpose here on this earth, and what is it creator wants me to do. And I think that's the other thing that really drives me to do all these different things. It's that this is my calling, and these are my callings, and I wear many hats, and it's okay to wear many hats, and I enjoy wearing many hats, but it's stepping into all of those callings, and believing in myself even if nobody else believes in me,
Mm-hmm.
and knowing that my own competition really is myself. And I think that's the biggest thing that I've been seeing, and I see a lot, is people are stuck in this competitive mindset. And I was thinking about this the other day because I was doing this model boot camp. We were talking about competition and healthy competition, and I was listening to people talk, and it made me sit back and think. And I'm like, wait, healthy competition. Healthy competition to me has always been with myself. I started reflecting as I was listening to everybody talk, and how I've been so successful and one of the top dancers in the world, and just pushing my mind and my body is always been a competition with myself and not others.
Mm-hmm.
I have never really I try not to compare myself to others. And if I see something I like, I'm like, okay, I like that, but I can do it this way, and I can do it my way, and I tweak it and turn it into my own thing so that I'm not copying anybody. It's still me, it's still myself. And like in dance growing up, I used to, like, even there, it's very competitive. You to be the top dancer, to be the prima ballerina, to be a soloist, you to get out of the core. And so what I ended up doing was really owning myself and not going into the lower vibrations of that competitive mindset, because when you get into that competitive mindset, you start self-sabotaging, and you start um, injuring yourself. You put blocks on yourself. And I've watched so many people do this since I was a little girl, and I would just it was a lot of visualization and keeping myself in a high vibration,
Mm-hmm.
and keeping myself in that high vibration growing up as a child. It empowered me, and it gave me the drive to just powerhouse through. And you weren't going to tell me I couldn't do anything, and you still can't tell me I can't do anything. I'll prove you wrong. And I've had to do that many times with doctors, proving them wrong. And that, especially with my car accident that I had when I was 17, I threw my talent away. There was a new directors that came into Oregon Ballet Theatre. They had a whole different agenda, and those of us that were in the pre-company were moved into a different level. And I was also dealing with rape at the time and trauma from that, so my vibration was really low. And instead of seeing that, I didn't want to dance at this place anymore, it wasn't fitting with my soul, it was lowering my vibration, I wasn't having the drive to dance anymore, and I quit.
I
And
remember that. I remember saying, you were telling me you're going to quit. And I said, if you really mean it, take those ballet shoes and throw them away. But even though in my mind, I'm like, she's not going to do it. You're just hurting at that moment. And I knew, because that's all I know. Since you were a little girl, you started dancing, and then you started choreographing. And when kids would come over, your friends would come over to play with you, I'd go check on you, and they're all just like zombies sitting there because you're entertaining them by dancing. And then I would say, pull you aside, Rachel, these are your friends, you're the guest, you need to entertain them. And you said, okay. And then I went back to check on you, and you're choreographing the dances for them. But I remember that moment that I was thinking, she's just about to throw her gifts away. But you were hurting. So I thought, okay, just challenge her. Tell her if she really hates it, throw those shoes away. Put it away, throw them away. And you actually did take them, and you threw them into the garbage. But later, I think you pulled them out. Or was it not me that pulled them out?
I pulled it out because I wanted to keep them, but when I threw them in the trash, I really threw it in the trash. And I remember, because I'm having a flashback, I remember being so angry, so hurt, and feeling like my life's work of 15 years of hard work was literally just thrown out the door. And instead of looking for a different place to go to, I was so angry that I was like, fine, I'm done. I'm tired of being treated like I don't know what I'm doing when I've been trained in all styles of dance. And I threw it away. But I remember when I threw it away, I knew I messed up, and I knew that I was going to pay for it. And sure enough, 3 days later, I was in a car accident, and I was rear-ended, and a guy hit me going through a red light and spun me into a gas station. And I had a 360 spinal cord hyperextension. My femur shot back into my pelvis, and I was told I was never going to dance again. And that threw me down a whole nother depression, because I literally threw my talent away, and creator took it away. And he was like, you're going to just throw it away like that? Fine. You want it? You're going to have to work for it now. So after time went by, I think it was about a year, I was like, all right, I miss dancing. And so I went back to Oregon Ballet Theatre, and I got over my ego and started going back into the adult classes in the very beginning, basic beginning ballet again from ground zero, like I was 3 again.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being in there, and I was struggling. I couldn't feel my feet. I couldn't feel my legs. It was hard to stand in on one leg. I was struggling. I could barely like bend my neck forward. I was a mess. And I remember there was this this woman, Melissa. She one day she was, I think it was after a couple of weeks of dancing with her in the adult class, she reached out to me and she's like, Rachel, have you ever heard of gyrotonic? And I was like, gyro, what? And I was like, she was like, gyrotonic. And she goes, I really think this would benefit you and this would help you. And I was like, at that point, I'd already seen, I don't know how many doctors and physical therapists. And at that point, I was just like a lost cause. Nobody knew how to help me. And at that point, I was like, I'm willing to try anything to help me get out of this place. And I didn't realize at the time, but now looking and going through all the training for gyrotonic to become a trainer myself, that now looking back when I was going through that training with her, it helped realign my spirit and raise my vibration in my body. And by bringing that, because then gyrotonic too, it's bringing the tai chi and the energy, and there's a lot of the breathing methods to center and bring the vibration to the body. There's a lot of breathing patterns that you echo into your body to vibrate energy through your body while you're stimulating the muscles and the organs in your body and the nervous system. And so uh, I think that was a huge thing for me because it allowed me to go back into this space of like a hypnosis almost, like what we do in vibration therapy, where it allowed me to escape the conscious mind and go into the subconscious mind while moving my body freely. And when I started doing that, it started raising my vibration, and it brought my soul, my spirit, and everything back into another place. And then also adding in our ceremonies and powwows and going to those powwows and sweat lodge, the vibration with the drum during that time, it really helped me find that. And um, because when we raise the vibration in our spirit, it makes it so much easier to go through trauma in our life. And that's the biggest thing that I've learned in my life, is that when I wasn't in high vibration, when I wasn't connected to creator, and I dismissed him from my life at a point, um, hardships were even harder and they were lonelier.
Yeah.
And they were harder to get through. But the more I was aware of raising my vibration and really coming into my true self and being connected, then it allowed me to also not be so in the emotion, and being able to really sit back and be like in the eye of the hurricane, where you can really sit back and, yeah, there's chaos going around you, and but if you can stay centered and stay in that place of balance and peace and harmony, then you don't get thrown for a whirlwind with all these traumas and emotions
Yeah.
and impact, things that impact our life in traumatic ways. You're able to sit back more and just kind of like a slow movie, just like watch it go past you, and you can observe it instead of getting thrusted into it, which I've done before. Is, when I wasn't grounded, when I wasn't in high vibration, those whirlwinds would come and it would just snatch me, and then it would take me for a whirlwind.
Yeah.
Not only that, it would take down people around me because of my energy. It would take you down. It would take down the family. It would take down friends if that were close to me. So then I would self isolate and not be around anybody because I didn't want to take anybody down. But then it put me in a lower vibration by doing so, because then I didn't have a support.
Right.
And so you really need that support when you're going through trauma and you're, trying to heal and raise your vibration. It's good to surround yourself with people that are in that vibration, that have that knowledge and, those prayers to help, guide and lead you so that you can have that higher vibration and connection. So you're not so lost.
Yeah.
And when you can really stay in that eye of the hurricane and really, keep your vibration high, then, these diseases, these traumas, these emotional traumas, the, things that's happening in the world around us right now, it's easier to set back and have a more of like an eagle eye perspective and view
Hmm.
of knowledge, so that you don't get so caught up in it and hurt and caught in the emotions of it.
So,
And
oh, go ahead.
go ahead. No.
Oh, I was just thinking while you're, telling your story from when you're a dancer and then you tossing the ballet shoes and then giving up the, just saying, I'm give up, and you're giving your gift away and tossing it aside. I'm thinking at that moment, I think you thought that this was a punishment of, you deciding to throw that gift away. But I want to let the viewers know, and maybe you as also, is that as I see your life and how I've seen it turn and discovering who you really are, and not also identifying yourself just as a dancer, but really delving into who is Rachael, and not using dance as who you are, but many other beautiful things. And I think that creator sets trials in your life because those are things that you have to have compassion with someone and to learn. You have to have compassion. Oh, I see they're going through struggles. I understand that because I did that. And then it ends up making you a gentler soul, more compassionate for your brothers and sisters, but also my relatives. And I remember some of them feeling like, and many do this even outside, that they feel like when something goes wrong, God's punishing them, the creator's punishing. But reality is sometimes, yes, not punishing, but allowing consequences. Oh, really? You think you are done with that talent that I gave you? Wow. But reality is he loves us unconditionally. Our creator loves us. But like I said, I've been watching your life and how it's flowing. But if it never had happened, gyrotonic would have never happened. If gyrotonic didn't happen, who knows where you would be. But because of gyrotonic, then from there, oh, I've had these other traumas. Now I need to do something else. Oh, vibrational sound therapy. Oh, now I'm going to be a vibrational sound therapist. Oh, what? We're going to have a business of holistic healing because you're gone into ceremonies, sun dances. You've gone through these different ceremonies. Oh, okay, you're doing this. And now it's like everything is like this ripple effect because of that one thing. And I think it's so beautiful. And a lot of times people lose their jobs, they lose everything, but it's sometimes what we call the trickster. We always blame everything on the trickster. And the trickster he's like, I'm just trying to help you out here. Get you out of your funk that you're in, or you're not going to move, right? And so the trickster is like, he makes things move to get you out of yourself so that you can be more in a pure way and have that soul that is so it's thriving, it wants to be its ultimate self, but our egos get in our way and we don't get to be that full potential being and that we're meant to be. And I think before it's almost time to go, but I want you to talk just a brief moment. How do we, because we live in this chaotic world, and right now it's the political issues that are happening with COVID. 6 months are up and people are now losing their houses. There's so much, but I know in my deepest of my hearts that we can raise that vibration. And if we get ourselves centered, tell me, Rachael, as a vibrational sound therapist, give me a few tools, and everyone else, give us some tools. What can we do to raise that vibration?
Well, there's several things that I do to raise my vibration. One of the first things that comes to my mind that I do is I go to the nature and I sit in nature where it's peaceful and it's quiet. I have a spot that I go, a couple spots. One's right on the cliff edge, and you see the river, and there's falcon nests by there. So you're next to the falcons and the eagles. And so I go sit there. I have a rock I go and sit on, and this rock has been there for a long
Yeah.
time. And so I like to sit on this rock and feel the energy and just be quiet and
So,
listen to everything that's around me. And that in itself is raises my vibration without any other tools. If you don't have access to internet, if you don't have access to sound bowls or YouTube, all these different things, that's like the main thing. That's my go-to, is the water and the ocean, the river, lakes. But my favorite is running water where it's constantly flowing and it's moving.
mhm,
And I like watching the water and just watching it. And if you're, or even get in the water and just stand, putting your feet in the water, that just alone, it raises your vibration because, so go be it. That's our water, that's our healing, that's medicine. And our way of tradition is the waters are healing waters, and they weren't just a water to go swim in and go bathe in. It's more than that. It feeds your soul, it raises your vibration. The water, she takes that negative from you, she takes the traumas from you. If you ask, to for that water to flow through you and take it from you. You can even go in the shower, and
mhm.
that's another one I do. Is I go in the shower and I'll just put the shower on top of my head, and I'll just be quiet, and I'll just close my eyes and just let the water just run over me. And if I'm having a bad day, I just imagine the water like a waterfall just going through the top of my head, pouring through my whole body and pulling it out for me. And I'll stand there until I feel better. And that alone just raises my vibration. um, Another one is, sound therapy. I have my own podcast, Rising Warriors, and I also put it on Zimee Wellness Center. So there's those, and it's also on YouTube. So there's different places. There's other amazing sound therapists that I even listen to on YouTube that are empowering and help raise your vibrations. And there's specific ones that tune into subconscious, sleep, heart, anxiety, depression. And so there's certain vibrations that move along to help assist the body to move through healing quicker, so that you release those negative energies. Another one I do is drumming.
Mhm.
So our traditional songs that have been passed down through our grandfathers and our family. Um, that's another one that I do. Is I sit and with my drum and I sing and I pray.
Yeah,
That's another one, is praying to release, and raise my vibration, because creator can take all of it. We can get our ego in the way and say that we can do it ourselves. But if we just surrender to creator, and give it to him. And I've had to do that so many times, because I didn't know how I was going to go on.
yeah,
And I needed him to carry me so that I could stay in that vibration of love and comfort, and you know understanding that I, like a child, like I just had to be carried for a moment, and it's okay. But praying, that helped me raise my vibration. And not just praying, but talking. really talking to creator. It's not just praying. I talk.
Yeah.
I like a conversation like I'm having with you right now. This is my needs. This is my wants. I'm thankful for this, and those things, and always having gratitude for the small things, big things, things that we haven't even seen yet. That's another big one. There's also like the monks. They have all these different levels of vibrations through humming. So I do a lot of that, and I learned all that through gyrotonic,
Mm-hmm.
because that's part of the gyrokinesis and gyrotonic breathing is through the ohms and ums, and so doing all these different vibrations, because you're putting the sound vibration into the body, and you're actually like raising that vibration from the inside core to come out. And so you're actually moving the vibrations through your body as you're doing these sounds, and pushing the sounds through the body and through the diaphragm, so that you're raising the organs, the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments, the nervous system. You're raising the whole vibration as a whole. So that's another one that
Yeah.
I do.
There's so many that we should do like segments of episodes and series about this. But Rachel, it's time for me to go, for us to close, and I just want to thank you for sharing your story. And I hope that all of you out there think about being centered, and think about taking the time every day, twice a day if you need to, but get out yourself into the nature, go walk in the grass barefooted, whatever it takes. But we have to center ourselves. There's too much of the vibrations that are taking us down, the negativity. And today has been, like Rachel, I was telling her that today's like been an off day for me, and I'm like trying to figure out, why am I feeling so much heaviness. But I realize also, as an empath, that I am feeling the environment. I'm feeling our what's going on in our society, and it's very, very, very heavy at the uncertainties in life. So I feel like, okay, and then I have to tell myself, okay, let's center yourself again, and just and shielding up. So, but Rachel's gave some great examples. So connect to the websites, and you will see that on Facebook. And there's so many elements and of ways to heal, and to be and raising vibration into a higher frequency. So love, light, and beauty, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Have a good day.